everybody and welcome to this trading vlog. If you're new to the channel, I'm Emily and the channel Mindfully Trading shares my journey as I grow and develop as a Forex trader. And in this video I'm going to share with you some live trading as well as an insight to what a trading day looks like for me, so stick around. I'm just sold into Euro USD, which is feels a bit riskier because it is against the uptrend at the moment, but I think it's quite extended. And going from the price action here, which I'll go through further in more detail in a moment. So risking 25 to make 50 pips. So my target will be 1.1647, 1.1647. So I have got room before the moving average, and looking from the charts, it's really respected that moving average, so I am trusting it's going to pull back to that, and that's why my target is above that. Okay, so I've just gotten long on the pound yen as well. 9 o'clock close of the 1 hour candle, which is a bullish candle rejecting that pivot line that's previously been tested, the bottom of the channel. So my position here on the pound yen is 0.46. I'm risking 45 pips to make 90 pips. So let's set my stop and target 136.36. Targets up here. 136.36. I'm risking 1% to make 2%. See, 136.13. Euro USD, I'm going to let you do your thing. A little bit more of a risky trade, that one, but I'm trusting in my technical analysis there. If it doesn't work, I will learn from it. Okay, so 2 trades are set. I'm currently short Euro USD, which I know is a little bit risky because the overall trend is quite a strong uptrend of Euro USD, but after doing technical analysis, I feel like there is room for a pullback on there, and I'm just trying to scalp that pullback move using the 4-hourly and 1-hourly chart. And then I've got a long position on the Great British Pound Japanese Yen, as it's just tapped the bottom of a channel point and it's formed quite a strong bounce from there, so that's what I'm trading on that one. I'll break down the trades in more detail very soon. Ordinarily now, after getting into a trade or two, I would most likely go for a walk and just sort of get a bit of fresh air and try not to think of the trades and just sit there looking at them on the computer. But as you can probably see behind me, so I think I'm going to wimp out and decide to just stay in the boat where it's nice and warm. But needless to say, I'm going to step away from the computer now, let the trades do their thing. If they lose, they lose. If they win, they win. But I just want to let the plan work out and then break down the trade results later on. So the sun has come out, so I've crawled out of my little boat cave, although it's still a very wet day. I just wanted to share this clip with you guys really because although I'm not at the screens right now, this is still what I would consider a part of trading. I mean, I'm still developing this skill, but a big part of trading I think is once you've actually set your orders, you're in a trade, you've got a stop loss set, you've got your hard profit target set, and you've just got to come to this point where you step back and let the trade play out. I think for me personally, it can be quite difficult when you're sat there and the computer's there and the temptation is to just check that trade every 5 or 10 minutes. And it can sometimes affect the psychology, you know, like the small choppy price action moves on the intraday charts. And, you know, it might go down and you might think, oh no, it's reversing, and all those emotions and thoughts kick in. Sometimes it's good to just get out. I think this is, for me, a part of how I manage to stay, or at least I'm working on staying mindful in my trades and working on trading psychology, is by just getting out, getting into nature, getting some fresh air, getting away from the screens. I find it quite interesting as well because as amazing and useful technology is, I mean, it's a great resource, right? I think that it's really good to keep a balance between technology and nature, because You know, so much of our world is run on technology now, our phones, our internet, computers, televisions, cars, like everything really, we're affected by technology. And it is really useful, I'm not knocking it, but you know, sometimes when I've been at the charts for hours and I come outside, I find it really useful because it takes me a few moments to just kind of feel like I'm getting out of the matrix of seeing chart candlestick patterns and thinking about risk, and it's all very heavy on your mind. And I think that it can really help to develop the psychology side of trading, to just get out and try and find those moments of peace so that you can help to develop that peace within yourself, which is quite important, that space of quiet in your emotions. Speaking of technology, wouldn't it be great if we could teleport just with the click of a finger? Hey guys, so back down seated at the computer and just checking how my trades are getting in. So just to recap for you, in 2 trades, I've actually taken 1 loser and I'm still in 1 other trade. So I'm going to jump on the computer now and I'm going to share with you where they're currently at. Alright guys, so onto my broker platform, and as you can see I'm still in 1 trade. I'm just letting it do its thing. I'm still very much trusting my plan. I know it says I'm down 28 pence at the moment, but the price action is within my trading plan and my strategy, so I'm going to ignore that for now, and I'm most likely going to share that with you in another video, so it might be a to be continued video, because I'm aware it's already getting quite long, and quite honestly I don't know how long I'll be in this trade for, but using the 4-hourly chart it might even take a couple of days, so I'm going to leave that one for now. Okay, so the losing trade that I've had since I've gotten back from my walk and carried on with the rest of my day, I've just come to look at the charts, and obviously I have taken 1 loser, the one that we got into on the Euro USD, and to be honest, I'm really not surprised. I'm trying to foster this space of having no emotion when it comes to both profit and losers at the moment, and you know, I can't help but have the natural joy when it's a win and have that natural disappointment when it's a loss, but I'm trying to really get to that neutral place. But for the purposes of this, I'm trying not to use negative words like disappointment or annoyed, but I'm not surprised because I feel like I let myself down with this one when I got into it, because I had that moment before I executed the trade where I thought to myself, Emily, this is going against the trend. This is not what you want to do. But I'd kind of fooled myself with what I was seeing on the charts, and I was so sure that the trade was going to work out, and I was like, oh, you know, you need to just go for it and stop being too conservative. And that for me is that kind of emotional mix-up, and perhaps I should go for the walk before I start trading, just to clear my head. But you know, without going on about that too much, let's drag the chart across for Euro USD so you can see just how pretty much pointless this trade was. Now, I'm totally aware that Euro USD, this is the 4-hourly chart, and as I'm sure you'll be aware, Euro USD has been in this really nice, strong uptrend. And I'm just zooming quite far out here. In fact, I'll go to the daily chart just to get the big picture. There's quite a few lines going on in this chart. It's starting to look quite cluttered now, but basically these 2 top channel lines that are in a downtrend are the overall kind of monthly chart. But recently we have bounced off this lower trend line, we've kind of worked our way up, we've broken this upper trend line, and for now we seem to be holding that. So it is in a strong uptrend, and I think it is mainly due, one of our subscribers said the same thing, down to the coronavirus effects having on the US dollar. So when I was looking at this for the daily chart, I realized that we had 6 consecutive green candles on here, and we'd also broken out of this uptrend line that I'd drawn. So jumping onto the 4-hourly where that becomes a little bit more clear, we can see that we've been in this uptrend channel, and I'm just going to pull that up so you can see that if you ignore the clutter here just at the moment, rather recently we'd broken out of this upper trend line and worked our way up. Now the reason I was looking at this, and I think for this I was relying a bit more on the 1 hour, which is naughty because that's not what I should be doing. I should be focusing on the authority chart here, which is the 4 hour. So I feel like this trade just represents the teething problems I'm experiencing in kind of doing a different strategy, because I'm trying to use the larger time frames. I feel like they are the time frames that price action respects more, and they remove a lot of the choppiness that's in price action. But because I have recently been trading on the smaller time frames, like the 15-minute and the hourly, I keep having the habit of gravitating back. So I'm just, as I say, these are just teething pains. They're just part of the learning process. And that's why I'm using low risk, so that I can take a loss and I can learn from it and it won't detriment my account. I know where I've gone wrong here. First of all, major error in going against the trend. I mean, going against the trend is okay if you've got the strategy. There are counter trend strategies. And the main thing I noticed about this trade is that I didn't have any valid support point plotted on my chart. So any like daily pivot points or any kind of horizontal line that would represent a support and would then validate my entry, because it would help to gauge the price action more. Instead, I was relying on the fact that the 4-hourly candle was an inside candle to the previous candle, which does not mean that it is ready to go either short or long. It's indecision. But in that moment, I didn't think about that. I can sometimes find it difficult in the moment to kind of remember everything that I've been learning, and that's what I'm kind of struggling with a little bit as well as a beginner. There's so much to learn with trading, and I think that the experience is what helps you to put in practice what you're learning. And you know, it takes a little bit of time to do that, because there's so much that you have to remember and do in the moment of trading, as well as manage those emotions. So if I just jump to my notes here on TraderView just to share with you. So I got into this at just before 9 o'clock, short the Euro USD. Very small position size as per my risk, and I was risking 25 pips to make 50 pips. And the notes that I entered here to validate my entry was that it was extended on the 4-hourly and the daily, that there was an hour candle rejection pin bar, but I did write that it was not of a key support level, or in this case a resistance. And that for me should have been enough of a point to not take the trade. It was not an A quality trade, and that's where I've made a mistake here, because I kind of overlooked that. I was sort of desperate to just get in, you know, it's that exciting Monday, you must get into trades, and it sort of let me down a little bit today. Slight channel break of the 1 hour. I haven't written it here, but I was also using the 15-minute and the 30-minute for that, which again is wrong, because I shouldn't be looking at the smaller time frames for that. That's not the strategy that I'm doing. And then the volume dwindled on the uptrend with a bigger volume on the hourly red candle. So I'll just show you. For that, I was just looking at these volume bars here. There is actually a psychological word for this when you study trading psychology, but sometimes you can see certain things on the charts. I think it's heuristics. That means that it validates what you want it to, but you don't actually look at the bigger picture. So for an example, on this hourly chart here, notice how the volume bars do dwindle and go very low, which coincide with this uptrend here. And I decided that meant that even though we were going up, that there wasn't that much volume and strength to justify it. However, looking at these candles, they occur during the time period that's the Asian time period, where the volume naturally is lower anyway, because as we know in Forex, the London and the New York times are what usually provides the most volume and volatility to the market. So it's just little things like this that, you know, I can say this to you guys now because I'm looking back and I know them deep down. But in the moment of trading, when I'm about to execute a trade, sometimes all this knowledge just flies away, which is a little bit annoying. But again, it's just all part of that learning journey. And I used that annoying word, didn't I? I said I wasn't going to use a negative word. I'm trying to be completely devoid of emotion. So as you can see, it kind of came down a little bit, but it's in an uptrend, and it's in a strong uptrend, and it's carried on, and it's hit my stop. And looking at this, even if I was looking to take a short, which still wouldn't have exactly been the most clever way to play this pair, it would have been better for me to wait until this pivot point at least to see how it reacts there, and to wait for a valid candlestick pattern to form to justify the trade. So as far as I'm concerned, there's many errors with this. I don't feel like this was necessarily an unlucky trade where I followed my strategy and it didn't work. In this instance, I feel like this was just a poor quality trade. And I know that now, and I'm just sharing that with you because, again, it's all part of that beginner journey. But it's why I'm keeping my risk low, and it's why I just keep going, keep learning, taking it all in my stride. So as a result of that, that is minus 1% on my account, and that equates to around about minus £4.75. So I'm going to make a note of that in my trading journal. Meanwhile, I am still long in the Great British Pound to the Japanese yen. I'm not going to go through that with you guys now because obviously the trade's still in play. So hopefully I'll be able to share the results of that with you later on in the week. Meanwhile, I hope you all have a great week. If you've liked this video, do drop me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, you know, check it out and subscribe below. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.